right, though. I mean, I'm not over her. But she's not over me. I mean, I know it. Topanga knows it. And... the guy she's kissing knows it.
When season 2 came to an end, you could feel the ground shifting under Boy Meets World. The stakes were getting higher. Shawn moving in with Mr. Turner proved the show was ready to tackle real heavy emotional weight, while the dynamic between Cory and Topanga was clearly starting to heat up. Things were getting interesting. Don't get me wrong, the show was always fun, but as we rolled into season 3 in the fall of 1995, it hit a completely different gear. The writers didn't waste a single second resetting the table. They took every storyline, every relationship, and every character arc from season 2 and pushed them full speed ahead. This was the year Boy Meets World stopped being just a great sitcom and started becoming something legendary.
I don't think you'll have the time, Mr. Matthews.
Detention?
Let's not call it detention. I prefer hooked on Feeny.
Just like we talked about season 2, there were some pretty noticeable changes going on at John Adams High when season 3 starts. First off, a few familiar faces are basically on their way out. Harley and Griff get one final appearance together in He Said, She Said, where Harley comes back to confront Griff after realizing Joey and Frankie have started working for him. And then basically, that's it. We don't see Harley or Griff ever again. Eric's best friend Jason is completely out of the picture by this point. His last appearance was actually at the end of season 2, so by the time we get in season 3, Eric's old best friend is gone, presumably in college.
Later.
And then there's Morgan. Except Morgan is basically gone for half of the season. We don't even see her until episode 14. When she finally comes downstairs, she's suddenly played by Lindsay Ridgway instead of Lily Nixay. I find it fun that Boy Meets World knew he would notice.
So, rumor upstairs is you got a date.
Morgan, long time no see.
Yeah, that was the longest time out I've ever had.
The show basically acknowledges that they disappeared Morgan for half a season, then just swapped actresses on us. Lindsay Ridgway brings completely different energy to Morgan too.
I can't believe I'm related to a dropout.
He's not a dropout.
But out of all the changes season 3 makes, I think the biggest addition is one that ends up fitting into the show almost perfectly: Eli Williams. When Eli shows up, he clicks with the world of Boy Meets World. Eli and Turner are best friends and former college roommates, and honestly, they felt like they have known each other forever. There's a really natural Cory and Shawn chemistry between the two of them.
Eli, buddy, when they kick you out of your apartment, man, you'll always have a place to stay.
Hey, I appreciate that.
That park across the street, man. And they got new benches, and we'd still be neighbors.
Before he ever gets to John Adams High, he's already worked in Philadelphia television news. He was producing the 6 o'clock news, but he was fired after trying to expose the slumlords in Philadelphia, while the station wanted more sensational news stories.
I'm trying to show people what's really going on with slumlords in Philadelphia, and the station manager saying, well, let's see more of that woman that walks to work naked.
So Eli ends up at John Adams High teaching media arts, and from there he becomes a surprisingly important part of the season.
Well, I guess if nothing else, I'm here to teach you to find the truth in the media. Because there is a difference between what they say and what is real.
Especially when Cory and Shawn get assigned a media arts project and end up investigating janitor Bud. Discover Bud has been leaving school early to bet on horses while paying Joey the rat to punch him out at 5. They film it, the footage gets aired before Eli gets a chance to review it, and Bud gets fired. Suddenly, Cory is getting hammered by everybody at school, and nobody really cares that he found the truth. They just know Bud lost his job. And Cory goes to Eli because he wants to know whether he did the right thing. And I love that Eli doesn't give him an easy answer because...
Welcome to the news business. It's a tough game when you care.
So, I was wrong when I did my story.
No, I didn't say that.
So I was right.
No, I didn't say that either. There isn't always a clear right or wrong.
When you look at what makes Eli such a great addition to season 3, he's not just a teacher, he's another perspective. But more than anything, he feels like somebody who genuinely belongs in the world of the show. And honestly, I wish we would have got more of him. Because just like Turn before, Eli is one of the characters who just doesn't feel like a new addition. He feels like he belongs.
Excuse me, Mr. Wiseman.
I am playing a song, man.
All right, now I'm finished.
After speaking of characters who really become important in season 3, we have to talk about Shawn and Mr. Turner. Because by this point, Turner isn't just Shawn's teacher anymore. And I actually really like the way the show handles this because it doesn't make the relationship some perfect father-son situation overnight. Turner is trying to figure out how to take care of Shawn, while Shawn is trying to figure out what it's like to actually have some stability. And honestly, neither of them is completely ready for what that means. You can see that pretty early on in the episode The Double Lie.
I'm the adult here. You're the kid, remember?
Well, what's that mean? You can lie and I can't?
Look, I needed a little privacy, okay? I got my own life, you know?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was cramping your style by living here.
This is my place. I don't have to defend myself.
Yeah, your place. That says it all.
There's friction between them, but there's also a clear, deep bond and a lot of respect underneath it.
You okay?
Yeah, we're good.
And I think that's part of what makes the relationship work so well. And later in that season, Eli gives Shawn a little bit more insight into Turner's past.
So you know that his parents are real rich.
He has parents?
You see, John was brought up in a big old stone house in Connecticut. Private schools, trust funds, everything. Now, all he had to do was stay in the family business. He'd have been set for the rest of his life.
And I think that it adds another layer to Turner. He didn't just end up becoming a teacher, he chose that life. And now he's trying to figure out whether he can take that one step further, actually becoming Shawn's legal guardian. Shawn is already starting to have some problems at school. He's in missing class and showing up late, and at one point he's more interested in staying home and watching Forrest Gump on pay-per-view. Turner comes home to check on him and realizes Shawn isn't exactly taking school seriously, which I think he did know to a degree if we're being honest. That's what leads Shawn getting sent to the guidance counselor. And this counselor gives Shawn some advice on what is her first day.
The idea of college. In fact, I took a year off and traveled around Europe. Even lived in Spain for 6 months. As I did end up in college, but I needed to learn about myself first.
Shawn takes that advice pretty seriously. He decides he's going to Europe, except he bought a bus ticket to Paris, Texas. It's a funny moment on the surface, but I think there's actually a little bit more to it than that. Shawn is looking for somewhere else to go because at this point he doesn't really know where he belongs. And Turner's still trying to figure out how to keep him from running away from everything.
Get back here. You're not going anywhere.
I'm going to Europe.
No, you're going to Texas. Shawn, come on. You're 15 years old, you got no money, and you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. You think there's a chance that I'm right?
I don't know.
You're coming home with me where you belong.
And as much as Shawn cares about Turner, there's still one person he really never stops wanting, his dad, Chet. Shawn's loyalty to his dad is one of the most sincere things about his character. Even after everything Chet puts him through, Shawn almost never speaks badly about him. He knows his dad isn't perfect, but he loves him for who he is. And that's why the guardianship situation gets so complicated.
Then why'd you take your sweet time to file for guardianship?
Is that what this is about?
It's what everything's about, John. It's my life. I mean, you've got your life. My dad's got his life. I just feel like I've got nothing.
Turner considers becoming Shawn's legal guardian, but it doesn't really feel like either one of them is completely ready for that commitment. And as the relationship starts getting a little rocky, Shawn eventually decides he's going to move in with Uncle Mike. And that's what makes Shawn's situation so heartbreaking. He's tired of feeling like a guest wherever he goes. Then Cory finds out Shawn had moved in with his Uncle Mike, and Cory realizes that isn't really solving the problem. So Cory decides to do something about it himself. He goes and looks for Chet. Because Cory knows as much as Turner cares about Shawn, Shawn needs his dad.
Mr. Turner's great now, okay? But he's his friend. He's not his father. You are. And with all due respect, if you love him, Mr. Hunter, then you'd come back for him.
And this is such an important moment for Cory because he's not trying to replace Turner. He's not even saying Turner isn't good enough. He's simply recognizing that the one thing Shawn has been asking for his entire time, his dad. Meanwhile, Shawn gets to Uncle Mike's place, but when he gets there, Mike's trailer is gone. He ends up sleeping in the park. Eventually, a police officer finds him and brings him to the station. But later on, Shawn eventually runs into Chet directly at the police station. This is where Shawn's true feelings come out.
Shawn, I left you with Turner's because in my mind it was a better place.
I know it was a good place, Dad, but I wouldn't call it better. It wasn't with you. It wasn't home.
I don't know, Shawn.
Come on, Dad. I'm right here. No chasing. Besides, I need you. And I'm thinking you need me.
And I think that's what's so powerful about this scene is that Shawn isn't asking Chet to suddenly become the perfect father. He's just asking him to be there. And Chet finally makes the decision to stay. When Turner arrives to bail Shawn out, Chet tells him that he's staying and he's going to take care of his son. And Turner actually seems happy for Shawn because he knows that's what Shawn wants. And there's something really nice about that. Because Turner knows he was never supposed to replace Chet. He was there because Shawn needed somebody. And for almost a year, he gave Shawn exactly that, a home, stability. And more importantly, a genuine friend who was willing to be there for him. Of course, Turner probably wasn't quite as happy when he realized Chet stole his TV.
Okay, that's just about it.
Dad, that's Mr. Turner's TV.
Well, heck, you've been here a year. Besides, teachers shouldn't be watching television anyway.
Even though the whole situation ends up with Shawn getting what he wanted, there's still a little reminder that Chet is, well, Chet. Before we get into Eric, we definitely have to spend some time talking about Amy and Alan, because after 3 seasons, I think there's something really interesting about the Matthews parents. They're probably the most consistent force in the entire show alongside Feeny. Cory has gotten older, Shawn's life has become much more complicated, a lot of relationships have changed, but Alan and Amy are still the same. They're still sitting at the kitchen table, still giving their kids advice, and still trying to push Cory and Eric in the right direction. They're not perfect parents, they get frustrated, they overact, and sometimes they get things wrong, but you never question whether they care. Amy gets a great example of that early in the season, where Cory comes home after telling Topanga that he loves her.
What happened? She looked so pretty, Mom, and there we were all alone. In the back room at Chubby's. Mom! No, that's not what happened.
And that's Alan and Amy throughout the show. Their kids can walk through the front door with just about anything going on in their lives, and they're going to be there. We also get a nice reminder of Alan and Amy as the couple in Rave On. It's their 20th anniversary, and Cory and Eric somehow schedule their giant rave at Chubby's on the exact same night. It's clearly played for laughs, but I like how the show takes a moment to remind us that Alan and Amy have a life outside being parents.
Give us one good reason.
Honey, they're playing our song.
They're husband and wife. They've been together for 20 years, and even with everything their kids are dealing with, the relationship's still there.
Do you have the papers?
Papers?
On the American space program.
What, you mean my term paper? Whoa, why are you guys talking like Boris and Natasha?
Good. He knows our secret code names.
And then we get Eric. Because I actually think season 3 is one of the most interesting seasons for him. Partially because the show seems very uncertain in which direction they want Eric to go in. We do start to see signs that Eric is clearly starting to become massive comic relief throughout this season.
It's fog now.
No, we're talking cartoons here, Mr. Feeny. You're way out of your league.
He's still funny, but he's also functioning more like Cory's older brother and showing a little more maturity. Then the season starts pulling him in different directions. There are moments where Eric is decently intelligent and capable.
Mr. Feeny, I just want you to know that I worked really hard with Jeff, but you know better than anybody else that you can't teach somebody if they don't want to learn.
Well, how do you explain this?
You gave Jeff a C+?
No. You did.
And then there are moments where the show leans hard into him being a completely carefree guy. The sleep study storyline is probably the clearest example.
But you registered absolutely no brain activity. It's remarkable.
I've been sleeping since I was 5.
It's funny, but it's also a little strange when you put it next to the rest of his story. Because this is also a season where Eric is seriously thinking about his future, and eventually he finds something he's genuinely passionate about, the weather. Eric gets an internship at WIXB, and then suddenly he has something he actually cares about. He's good at it, and he really enjoys it. And he starts thinking this could actually be his career. But he gets so wrapped up in the news station, he starts neglecting school.
I urge you to reconsider.
There's nothing more to think about.
Eric, are you or are you not going to go to school tomorrow?
Eventually, Eric decides to quit school and focus on the news. And Alan absolutely freaks out. From Alan's perspective, Eric is throwing away his education for an opportunity that might not even work out.
It is not going to help.
No, I'm not going to remain quiet while my son makes the biggest mistake of his life. Now, you may be some big shot weatherman down at channel whatever it is, but here, you're still my son living in my house.
A huge argument, Eric quits school, but then Alan has time to think about what happened. Alan realizes he's doing something his own father once did to him, so he goes back to Eric and he apologizes.
Dropping out of school made life a lot harder for me, but that gives me no right to turn my back on you. You're my son. Always.
Once Eric quit school, the news station did let him go, sadly because he was no longer enrolled in school. Sad episode. Then Eric has to deal with college. The rejection letters start coming in, and suddenly the guy who usually can laugh everything off doesn't have much to laugh about. Then he gets into Boris College.
Yeah, I sure am.
So where you going?
Boris.
Boris?
Yep, Boris.
Boris College?
BC.
Forgive me, Mr. Matthews, but I'm not familiar with any Boris. May I see your letter?
Oh, sure.
Eric thinks he's finally been accepted somewhere only to find out Boris College isn't even real. It's hilarious, but there's something pretty sad underneath it. Eric wants somewhere to go. He wants to know he's going to be okay, and for a minute, even a fake college gives him that feeling. The reality catches back up with him, and then that's when we get the episode Brother, Brother. Eric's preparing to leave, Cory is struggling with it, and then the whole thing explodes over Mike Schmidt's baseball. Eric throws it outside, Cory goes after him, and the two brothers actually get into a physical fight. At the going away celebration at Chubby's, Cory finally says what's been bothering him. He admits he doesn't really know his own brother, and that's what makes the scene hit. Cory isn't upset because Eric is moving forward. He's upset because he's finally old enough to actually know his brother, and now Eric is leaving.
15 years in the same room, Eric. 15 years.
It's messy, it's not some perfect goodbye. It's two brothers actually letting years of frustration come out, but then they eventually make up. This is actually in the finale episode when Eric decides he is going to take the trip and decides to bring Cory along with him. 2 months to actually get to know each other in a different way, not just as brothers, as friends. And I think that's a pretty fitting place to leave the Matthews family.
I'm gonna take that trip. First thing in the morning.
Why wait?
I gotta wait for you to go home and pack.
Me?
2 months on the road. Can't think anybody else I'd rather share the car with.
Then we have the man, myth, legend, Mr. Feeny. And honestly, I think season 3 gives us one of the best versions of Feeny we've seen yet. Because he's still the teacher, he's still giving Cory, Shawn, and Topanga huge life lessons, but this season also gives us a much better look at the man underneath Mr. Feeny. And the perfect example of this is City Slackers. Cory and Shawn end up taking Feeny's key and going up to his cabin for the weekend, only to run into Mr. Feeny there.
Okay, you dead psycho axe murderer! Let's see what you're made of.
During the midst of this, Cory accidentally drops Feeny's watch down the drain, and both Cory and Shawn could tell Feeny's visibly upset by this. And later on that evening, Shawn reads Feeny's diary, and they discovered that the watch was an anniversary gift from his late wife, Lillian.
In the evening, we exchanged gifts. As I lifted the wristwatch out of its box, the glass on the watch face caught Lillian's reflection. A smile that lit the night sky.
His wristwatch.
So Cory and Shawn spend the entire night trying to get it back. Finally Feeny doesn't give them some giant emotional speech. He doesn't have to, you can see it, how much it means to him. And then season 3 gives us another Feeny storyline that is very important. Retirement. And what's interesting is that Cory actually has his hand in pushing him toward it. Cory and Shawn are furious about the final schedule. 3 finals in one day with only 10 minutes between. So Cory accidentally becomes a student leader and tries to convince Feeny to change it, but Feeny refuses. He believes the pressure of taking multiple finals in one day actually helps students retain what they've learned. Cory doesn't agree, and unfortunately the whole thing gets way out of hand. A group of students end up vandalizing Feeny's house. And Cory feels horrible because even though he didn't tell anyone to trash Feeny's house, he started the whole thing. And then Feeny announces that he's retiring.
Mr. Matthews, I'm retiring at the end of the year.
And that hits Cory, because Cory isn't just losing a teacher, he's realizing something he started, even unintentionally, may have made Feeny question whether he still belongs in the classroom. Turner tries talking to Feeny about it, but Feeny convinced himself that maybe he's no longer effective.
Here in the garden, at the end of each season, you see the results of the seeds that you planted. And even in a particularly bad season, there is still growth.
And then things get even worse. Students take their protests to school itself, and now they're vandalizing the building. And this is where Shawn finally steps in. He tells Denny and the others that Feeny taught them about the First Amendment right to peacefully assemble. But once they start destroying things, they've crossed the line. And then Denny pulls out the bolt cutters, and Shawn gives him one of my favorite lines in the entire series.
Why are you defending him? What has he ever done for you?
You see those bolt cutters in your hands?
Yeah, what about him?
You see I don't have any in mine?
Yeah, so?
That's what he's done for me.
And after Shawn stands up for him, Feeny decides shortly after he's not retiring. Such a great payoff because Cory is the one who unintentionally made Feeny question whether he should keep teaching. but Shawn is the one who reminds Feeny why he should. And I think there's a really important part of Feeny's character. He doesn't stay in because he's obligated to. He stays because even after all these years, he realizes what he does actually matters.
But to me, a real hero is someone who does the right thing when the right thing isn't the easy thing to do.
And then there's Frankie. I wasn't really sure where to put Frankie because I don't think he's an entire section himself necessarily, but then there's no way of leaving him out. Because season 3 actually gives Frankie a pretty great storyline. After Harley is out of the picture, Frankie becomes much more connected to Cory and Shawn. At first, they're honestly terrified of him. They realize everybody at school is afraid of Frankie, so they start using that reputation to get what they want. And eventually, they realize they're treating Frankie like the school's enforcer instead of an actual person.
Yeah, and you guys should forget about what you think he is, all right? And just, I don't know, take a good look at him and give him a real chance. Kind of like we should have.
And that's when we get to see underneath the reputation. Frankie is actually very soft-spoken, he loves poetry, and he's a surprisingly thoughtful guy. Then we get the revelation that his father is professional wrestler Vader.
Straighten up, and he's gonna fly right as an 11-time heavyweight champion of the world. I guarantee you, my boy, he's gonna toe the line.
I think technically we knew this in season 2, but we'll just let it go, which is absolutely ridiculous. But somehow it makes Frankie even better, because Frankie is basically the opposite of what everyone assumes he is. He is this enormous guy with a terrifying reputation, but underneath all that, he wants to be treated like a normal person. And eventually, Frankie starts realizing he doesn't have to be someone else's muscle. He can just be Frankie. And honestly, we really needed more of Frankie in Boy Meets World, if I'm being honest.
Boo.
It's Feeny! It's in a car, Mr. Brown!
Not until I find out what that monster's done with Leon.
And right from the beginning of season 3, it gets complicated. Because when we pick these characters back up, Cory is already thinking about asking Topanga to be his girlfriend. And that's actually pretty interesting when you think about where season 2 left them. We obviously saw the relationship getting closer throughout that season, but we never actually saw the two of them make that official jump. Cory is already thinking about making Topanga his girlfriend. So clearly something happened over summertime.
It's like she goes away for a summer and comes back a woman.
And then almost immediately, we get this whole setup to finally push Cory into making a move in episode 1. Cory finds out Shawn is supposedly asking Topanga out, and he's obviously furious because he's been too nervous to ask her himself. Then Cory ends up taking Trini, Topanga's best friend, to the movie. And eventually, we find out the whole thing was a setup. Shawn and Trini were basically trying to make Cory jealous enough to finally admit how he feels about Topanga. And Topanga was in on it too, because she obviously wanted Cory to finally make the move. And eventually, Cory does.
If I had to dream up the perfect woman, she wouldn't even come close to you. Would you be my girlfriend?
After 2 seasons of all this build-up, Cory and Topanga are an official couple. But let's be clear, it's not necessarily smooth sailing in season 3. Because now they're actually having to figure out what being together means. They're not just flirting, they're in a real relationship. And almost immediately, the show starts throwing real problems at them. In the episode, what I meant to say, Cory tells Topanga he loves her. And instead of this becoming the perfect romantic moment, it actually scares her.
Topanga?
Yeah?
I love you.
The relationship suddenly feels much more serious, and Topanga doesn't know if she's ready for that. So she breaks up with him.
I don't think we should see each other anymore.
Was that give or take?
I'm sorry. It's over.
And Cory is obviously crushed, but then we get one of the most memorable moments of the relationship. The jacket. Cory shows up to Topanga's house to get his jean jacket back, but obviously that's not really why he's there. They finally talk about what happened. Topanga explains she wasn't really running away from Cory, she was scared of what love actually meant. And Cory explains what he thinks love is. Eventually Topanga realizes that she does love him too.
Cory? I love you too.
I was hoping you did.
And just like that, they're back together. And then we get the whole Missy Robinson situation. Topanga is sick and Cory starts getting a lot more attention from other girls. Missy Robinson is one of them. She invites Cory to a party and tells him to bring Shawn. Cory even checks to Topanga before he goes, and Topanga tells him to have fun. But when Cory and Shawn actually show up, they realize this isn't exactly the party they were expecting.
Come on, what's going on? Where is everybody?
This is everybody. Surprise!
Because Missy totally lied to them to get them there, and it's really just the four of them. Cory, Shawn, Missy, and Libby. And Missy and Libby basically pair off with the guys, leaving Cory alone with Missy. That's when Missy's intentions become pretty obvious. She's aggressively pursuing Cory, and Cory is clearly trying to get out of the situation. He even tells her that he has a girlfriend and that he should be with her. Honestly, watching this episode back today, the whole thing is pretty uncomfortable because Cory isn't really the one pursuing Missy, she's the one aggressively pursuing him. And eventually, she kisses him. Cory immediately feels terrible about it and goes straight to Topanga to tell her what happened. And the show treats the situation as Cory being tempted and having to take responsibility for what happened. But watching it today, it's hard not to recognize that Cory is being put in a situation where Missy lied about the party and repeatedly ignores his attempts to leave.
And Cory Matthews, it's going to be the last time if you ever do anything like that again.
And then we eventually get the Grass is Always Greener episode. By this point, Cory and Topanga have been together for a while now, and they realize the relationship is becoming predictable. They're basically stuck in a rut. So Cory and Shawn go to a party at another high school. Some girls mistake Cory for Shawn, and instead of correcting them, Cory goes along with it.
Hi, Shawn.
And at the same time, Topanga is pretending to be someone else too. And that's when they realize there isn't really any mystery left in the relationship. So they mutually decide to break up.
So are you saying you want to break up with me?
I'm saying I want to keep caring about you as much as I care about you now.
Then we should break up right away so we can still stay great friends.
Which we've always been.
Yeah, that'll never change, right?
Yeah.
This is where the relationship gets complicated because they don't just break up and immediately get back together. Cory is still pretty hurt by it. 2 weeks after the breakup, Cory sees Topanga kissing another guy.
You were right, though. I mean, I'm not over her. But she's not over me. I mean, I know it. Topanga knows it.
And this absolutely gets to him. Because it's one thing to tell yourself that your ex is going to date other people, and it's another thing to actually see it happen. Cory gets angry and basically tells Topanga,
That's the way you want it. I got a better idea. Let's not be friends anymore either.
But then he talks to Alan and Amy, and they help him look at the situation a little differently. And they remind Cory that some of the strongest relationships are built on friendship.
I mean, if you really care for each other, you don't just throw away the most important bond you have, your friendship.
And Cory eventually realizes that no matter what happens between him and Topanga romantically, he doesn't want to lose her as a friend. Maybe they never get back together, maybe they eventually do, but Cory decides that he wants to keep that door open. And for the next few episodes, that's basically where the relationship sits. It's not constantly the main storyline, they're still part of each other's lives. The show is giving them some breathing room. And then towards the end of the season, that relationship comes right back to the forefront. Cory and Topanga have now been apart for about 3 months, and Cory has been trying to move on. He's been dating other girls, basically trying to convince himself that he can get past Topanga.
That was nice, Cory.
Sure was, Topanga.
You just called me Topanga.
That's when it finally hits him. No matter how many girls he goes out with, he still ends up thinking about Topanga. Shawn asks him the obvious question. If he still feels as strongly about Topanga, why did he break up with her in the first place? And Cory admits he made a mistake. He wants to try to win Topanga back. There's just one problem. She still has feelings for Cory, but she's not ready to jump right back into that relationship.
It's really hard for me to trust you when this new Cory Matthews is running around dating all those other girls.
So Cory follows her to Disney World, determined to prove that he still loves her.
I came here to woo her, and by gum, woo her I will.
And for the good part of the episode, Cory is basically trying to win her back. But what's important is that Cory doesn't simply decide that they're a couple again. Cory realizes Topanga has to make that decision as well. And then eventually she realizes she wants to be with Cory. And that's where they finally get back together.
We did break up for a reason, right?
Yeah, we did.
And that reason was...
So we could get back together.
They don't just get together because the show says they're supposed to. They actually go through a lot of ups and downs. They get together, they break up, they get back together, they eventually break up again, then they try being friends. It's just a very, very complicated season 3, friends. And honestly, looking back at season 3, this was just such a fun season of Boy Meets World. We had the episode where Shawn brings home little Cory the pig. We had Cory and Shawn accidentally starting a fire at the school, only for Cory to somehow get credit for stopping it. We had Eric dating a supermodel and everyone getting stuck at the subway. There are so many episodes and moments that are still fun to watch today.
Think this is how I wanted to spend my night? I mean, you'd have to be an idiot to have a good time down here.
I don't know about you guys, but I am having a great time.
But I think what really makes the season stand out is how much stronger the characters and the relationship have become, and especially Cory and Shawn. The friendship gets tested throughout the season, but I don't think there's a better example of it than what happens with Eddie. Cory and Shawn are making the birthday video for Chet when Cory accidentally catches Eddie with a stolen computer in the background. Cory sees an opportunity to enter the footage in a news contest, but Shawn doesn't want him to use it because Eddie is family.
I got my hot story.
Look, do me a favor. Okay, just forget about the tape.
Oh, come on. Give me a reason.
I don't have to. Why don't you just drop it and go home?
No, I'm not going anywhere without my tape.
You want it?
Yeah.
Fine. Here.
So what are you doing? You had no right to do that.
It's my family. I can do whatever I want.
Shawn destroys the tape and the two of them getting into a huge fight over it. But Cory doesn't let it go. He comes back to the trailer park to get more footage. Eddie catches him, and Shawn shows up, stepping in to protect him. And then Shawn tells Cory that Eddie may be his blood, but Cory's his family.
What about protecting your family?
I just did. Eddie's only blood. They're my family.
And I think that's the perfect place for us to leave Cory and Shawn for the end of this video. Because Cory and Shawn don't always agree, they fight, they get on each other's nerves, and sometimes they seriously screw things up. But at the end of the day, they're always there for each other, and that's what makes their friendship so special. Season 3 just feels like Boy Meets World really finding its stride. It's funny, it's memorable, and their characters are growing up. And somehow, after all these years, so much of it still holds up. I'll catch you guys in Season 4.